rather than pray to God, because God will not change the natural order of things. Things will happen as and when they happen. He will not change things. He's not going to prevent a tsunami. He's not going to prevent your house from burning down. Okay? This is one of the things that was stressed in one of the lectures.
I'm just going to read a little comment that Mary said, Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy. That's Satan. Again, that's not God. We've got more Muslims in the world than we have Christians.
No way. What does she mean by that, though? What do you read that again?
She's saying Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy, and she's saying that.
No, you see, in that respect, you're wrong, because
she's saying Satan equals Allah, so that's what she's trying to put. But I'm saying there are more Christians. I mean, there are more Muslims in the world than there are Christians. And if that was true, we're going to be dying off very quickly if they're all looking to kill the infidels.
Well,
they are growing faster also than any other religion.
Well, our time on this earth is very limited, so I'm not too worried about that. You know. Yeah, the rabbi raised the question, why does God not interfere in the laws of nature? And that's because the world pursues its natural course. To the rabbis, the laws of nature have nothing to do, now this is important, have nothing to do with morality. You talk about your house burning down, okay, or there being a war. That's a natural order of things. If you want to prevent that from happening, you have to take action beforehand. Now, the explanation I gave you with Noah, you recall, when Noah finally landed supposedly on Mount Ararat, okay? That's if there even was an ark, let's be honest, because even the Midrash is not sure about that. But when he looked down, after the waters had settled, and he looked down at all the death and devastation, he looked up at the heavens and said to God, he cried out, how can you let this happen? God then said to Noah, where were you 2 years ago when I asked you to build the ark and I told you what was going to happen? Okay, God foretold this to Noah. All right? And that was the last time God had interfered. God has never, since that time, interfered with man. Because God saw what he did, and he saw that it was wrong. And that was probably the one time that God actually admitted that he made a mistake.
Okay.
But what God was saying was, mankind should look to prevent all the evil in the world so that you don't have to suffer what's going to come after, like war and killing.
Okay, so now you just said that, hold on, I just have to look at something, I'm sorry.
You know, it says nature is amoral. It has no morality. It just does things like a little child. The child doesn't know at the beginning right from wrong. They do things that hurt people until they learn that they're not supposed to do that. Nature is amoral. That's what he means.
Okay. Now, but God said he's not going to interfere with things any longer.
Right.
So what purpose is God serving now?
A lot of people will question that. Agnostics, atheists, they will say, well, what purpose is there of God in the present day? Just because the Bible stops at a certain point, the Torah gives you the laws to live by. The Midrash explains the laws and the interpretation of those laws. We live by these laws every day, but for every generation they become modified. Things that, back in ancient days, if you were caught stealing, they would cut your like they do in the Quran. If you're caught stealing with your right hand, they cut off your right hand.
No, we understand what I'm just saying. But now we have set laws.
Because
Christian Jews.
I know what you're saying.
Whatever religion they are, or atheists, all live by the same rules, basically.
Well, don't lump atheists in there, because if we believe in certain things that stem from God, who was the prime mover, okay, atheists don't believe in that.
But we all obey the same rules.
So?
We all live in the same earth.
So?
Where does God come in to make a difference right now?
Well, that's why in the 21st century there's a growing number of people who have become atheists and agnostics, and if you were to ask them, they say, well, we don't assimilate with any one religion,
It's just I don't know. I mean, you people look to God for hope. And if you're saying God says, don't look for me for hope, don't look for me for resolutions, don't look at me to solve any problems.
Well, there's a term called theodicy. Okay, theodicy is the reason why people turn back to God and religion during times of strife. Okay, during times of when something terrible happens.
Sure, when they have nowhere to go.
Even medical doctors, when when they give bad news to a family, and they say, well, if you believe, you could go pray. They tell you to pray.
Leave it to God's hands.
Yeah,
but the problem is God he's not getting involved in it, so that's a false.
Well, but that's why God says you pray for the doctors who are working on your wife or loved one to come up with a solution, okay?
She's saying atheism is a false religion.
Atheism is not a religion at all.
It's not a religion. It's a lack of religion. I guess
the Jews
I guess Rick the Challenger is not calling tonight, huh?
Probably.
Chad the Challenger. I
mean. According to going back to when Moses was taken out of the Nile River, 200 Jewish baby boys were being thrown into the Nile every day. And the people raised their hands to God and prayed and said, how can you allow that to happen? But God was not getting involved. That was man-made atrocity. Okay, God could not prevent that. The only way God could have prevented that is if the Israelis themselves, rather than look up at the heavens and pray to God and say, how could you allow this, is if the Hebrew slaves had rebelled against the Egyptians, and instead of allowing their children to be taken and thrown into the river, even if it meant their own death, if they fought the Egyptians. That's why God says you have to move forward. Your future is in your hands. You determine what's going to happen.
Free will. God gave us free will.
God gave us free will.
And basically what you're really looking at then, God doesn't really serve a purpose here anymore. He just serves, it's the afterlife that people are looking for.
More or less. How much?
Let's see here. Anyway,
I have more.
You you're worried about things you shouldn't be worried about it. This is being taken care of by God. You should. It's not there yet. Anyway, we're at a silence here. Any words of wisdom from you, Elisa? You still there?
I'm here. I'm actually falling asleep, but I'm here.
You have $7.
Well, I'm putting you to sleep. I understand that.
No, you guys aren't putting me to sleep, but just I've overdone myself in the past couple of days.
Yeah.
You have $8.
All right. Anyway, so we've got, I don't know, we've come into a moment of silence.
Well, I don't know. 10:35. I'm just running through my notes here, so you'll excuse me. If I find,
Okay, you know what I'm going to do?
you're going to play a song in between, right?
Yeah, how about play a song?
What'd you say?
Play a song.
Is that what she said?
Play a song. We have no more salsa, so let's see what we have next. Well, I think we may have, I don't know. Let's see what this is. I think we may have heard this one. I don't know. Anne May, The Dark Side. Did you hear that before?
I have to hear it.
Okay, she's
Yeah, I think it sounds familiar.
Yeah, but she's right on top.